Welcome to Hanging Out with Robert, that's me. This video contains things that I encounter throughout the day. If for some reason I complete a task and you would like to see the details, you can click on the link in the description area below. This video also contains tips and tricks that I learned throughout the years. I plan on leaving this video accessible for about 30 days. After that, you can view it through my Patreon account. Thank you very much for watching. Kicking off the Tinker Day. Actually, I've been a hostage for 5 hours and running. Somebody borrowed my car dolly and they're missing. I can't find them. MIA. Besides that, this T5R has a problem where it doesn't seem like that window works very well and the door light is staying on. It's like the window's jammed. It's trying to go down, but it's not. But anyway, I'm going to mess with the plug in this door to try to get this light out. If the plug tinkering doesn't fix it, I'm going to replace the latch on this door. I'm having a slew of latch issues with 850s. And I got a check engine light. Gotta see what that's about. And the engine sounds like it's low on oil, so I gotta check that. I am here. Just bought a little thing from O'Reilly's. Charger. I have no idea why I'm out here without a charger. I am in Hammond, Indiana. I stopped by here to see if I could help a lady get her car running as I'm passing through. And I bought this thing here. It's supposed to have a cord in there, fast charger. We'll test it and see how it works. When you got all the devices I have, you should always have something charging. You don't want to be without power. So my battery pack here is solar. It's been charging a little bit, but that solar takes a long time. This is supposed to be a good quality fast charger. We're going to plug this in and be charging this charging pack while we drive. Both of my phones are charged up. I got this phone I'm using. I do use that for recording, and then my other phone, I use it for calls and stuff. Oh man, it's one of these 2.41 amp ones. Hopefully that 2.4 will be enough to get me cranking. These little things are a trip. I got something that could plug into that little 1.0, but most things I like to charge almost 5 amp. It started charging and it quit charging. My little pack doesn't like this thing, because if it was charging, the blue lights would be walking across. So I'm going to take that thing and plug it into something else. Got my JBL speaker on the charger. Hopefully it'll charge that up. That JBL speaker is also a charge pack, so it takes several hours to charge that thing up, but it'll get a little bit of a charge on my way to a garage to work on somebody's car. What's happening, party people? We are in Hammond, Indiana, trying to help a lady with this Volvo 850. As you can see right off the cuff, it has some, I guess we'll call it cosmetic issues. Wiper falling off, hanging over the bumper, corner light busted. Looks like this hood's been repaired. It's got stuff coming off on that. It's got a couple holes in the fenders. A hood was left unlatched. Flew open on her when she was driving some years ago and damaged that. Had to replace the hood. I think she said they had to replace a windshield too. Maybe not. But anyway, got some more stuff going on here. Tail lights falling apart. She actually thought somebody cut that out of there and stole it, which I doubt that. And the exhaust is there at least. Got a couple used tires. This tire here, if you look, all that cracking on there, you hit a bump in the tire like that, that could blow if you're on the highway going fast enough. Let's see if we can find a date on it. 2014. That's a bad tire. Even though it has tread, that needs to be replaced. You do not want to be driving around with that. Got a couple of good doors on it. It looks like that Nordic blue. Now she has it here at this used tire place in service. They gave her or sold her a couple of used tires. I think they're used tires. I don't see a date code on them. They must be on the other side. But you really don't want your Volvo being serviced at a tire place that hustles used tires. They're not going to know what to do most of the time. So she contacted me. They're having a immobilizer issue. For some reason, some alarm automatically got set on it. Now every time they open the door, turn the key, do anything, it sets the alarm off with no sound, a silent alarm. But it immobilizes the car, and the car won't start, won't even crank. So I didn't know that it had a aftermarket system on it. So I told them how to get the correct Volvo system to allow you to start the car, and that wasn't working. So I said I'd come up here to help her get this car started and evaluate it to see what all it will take to make sure the car is a good, dependable daily driver to get her through the winter and keep it going until she decides to do something else or continue to service this car. She's a single, I guess, mature lady. All of her kids are grown, but she's kind of been without a car, trying her best to work and do what she needs to do for almost 6 years. She said this car has been down. That's what we're here for, folks, to try to get people like this on the road. She's doing her part, and her part is not cutting it. She actually bought a few parts to have some maintenance done. I've been getting this stuff fixed by the tire shop mechanics, and they've come to this point. That's the alarm system box there. It says directed electronics. It was a remote start system that her previous husband had installed. So I don't have the ability, and she can't find the remote to deactivate this thing. The fuse panel under here is coming apart. I had to plug in a relay, and whoever was there before me busted the relay panel. Now, I pulled this fuse right here out of the system doing some troubleshooting, and it allows me to crank it now, but it still won't start. I don't know if it's cut fuel or the fuel pump's going bad. Remote starts and alarm systems, when the immobilizer triggers, it probably usually cuts fuel and spark. I don't have all my tools and equipment here to check that, but I did get a test light so I could at least see if the fuel pump is getting power, but the fuel pump is not running. So cars sit for years, maybe never had a fuel pump. It could have a bad fuel pump. Of course, we don't know how many miles it has because it's not functioning, but I guess I could try to read the mileage on it so we can see what the actual mileage is. But in the meantime, we're going to, I guess, go ahead and check the mileage if the port works. We're going to check, see if fuel pump's getting any power to see if that's dead. And then I'm probably going to remove all of this alarm system stuff and try to hook the original wiring back up the way it's supposed to be, which is usually very complicated. So here's a ground wire that's loose. Here's some other wire that's broken here. This could be our problem, but I don't know who broke this, when it got broke, when the car stopped. So I got to try to track this stuff down and get it fixed. That goes over somewhere through this harness here. So there's some kind of wire harness going over there. I don't know if that's going to the stereo or where that's going. Ugh. Ugh. I don't know what that's for. Oh, we got a big chunk of wires here. Don't know what that's for, where that's going. I guess I'll go over the other side, see if I can follow that, and see if we can get this car started. Without the remote, if that thing is activated, probably never get that turned off without the remote. So let me see if I could, I guess we call it reverse engineer this stuff, put this car back the way it's supposed to be, and move on. It's got all kind of weird stuff. What's that button for? Like, why would that be there? I don't know. Then it's got wires running out here. Oh, nope, that's that broken wire. So every time they try to start the car, it starts flashing the flashers. And it now will crank with that fuse out, but it won't start. One thing I was told is if the battery's left connected to the car overnight, it totally kills the battery. So we got a dead battery. I just unlocked the driver's door twice and it didn't lock any other door. I hit unlock here, nothing happens. So the battery's totally dead for some reason. The radio doesn't power on when it has a good battery to even let you try to enter a code. They said the fan wasn't working, so it overheated. This car is probably overheated several times. That's something that is not good for the car, of course. And man, you know, this is one of these cars, I think it's a 96 base model. And with all that's going wrong with it, I would think this lady is a candidate for a donor car versus trying to fix this one. Let's see, you got an alarm immobilizer issue, trying to work around that. You got a possible bad fuel pump. You got all this knick-knack cosmetic stuff on the outside, including taillights falling out of the thing. You got a possible blown head gasket. Shocks are blown. Tires are bad. You know, I can probably get a car that has one or two problems, fix it, and give it to her and take this and do something else with this, part it out or whatever, you know, versus trying to fix everything that this thing needs. Even the roof liner's jacked up. Some of the trim back there is jacked up. But she was on a restoration frenzy. So evidently she's gotten to the point where she can start putting her car together, and she liked her car and she wanted it put together, but it's just been off the road for so long. It's got a lot of issues. So I'm considering trying to find a car to swap her out as a donor and donate a car to her, but you know, we'll see what happens. So this lady was actually on the phone ordering parts from IPD. I think she got that mount there ordered, and she was ordering strut parts and stuff like that. And she called and was talking to IPD, and she told them she was watching a video or something other. She had the heater core on this replaced. The floor is still soaking wet with coolant. She said that's what stopped the car from running several years ago. And she was buying coolant hoses. Unfortunately, not the right brand. I don't even know why we're still selling these parts, but if that's the only part you can get, I guess that's part of it. She's got a hole in her intake plenum right there, which is bad. Anything between your mass airflow sensor air box and your throttle body, you don't need any holes in it. That'll make you run rich or whatever. So there are several things going on here. I did bring a battery with me that I charged up at home, so this should crank at least. That's part of the alarm system there, a little horn there. Look like a wire on that's broken. But let me test it, see if it's getting power back there to that fuel pump. If it is, and the fuel pump's not running, not sending pressure up here, it also needs a fuel pump. Looks like they just tuned it up with spark plugs and wires, cap, and man, this looks a little loose here, but you know, that's not the end of the world. So let me drop this battery, see if this fuel pump is getting power, and if it's not pumping fuel up here, you know, it ain't gonna start even if I take that security system out. Now, I did jump this relay slot. I don't know if that's still jumped or not. I had to leave. Yeah, got a jump wire in there, kinda, sorta. I got new wire connectors so that I can make jump wires. And I got a tester so I could test fuel pump, whatever. She told me to try this little Ford key remote to see if that would remote start it. I doubt that's going to happen. But let's hook up the battery, push button, see if it remote start, and then try to test the fuel pump, and then work on getting that security system ripped out of here. This battery I brought from home was good at one time. Look, she got oil there. PCV system's probably bad, jammed up. That's hard as a rock. Battery should be good enough to crank and start this car. It sat in one of my cars for several months and it killed the battery, I think. So I charged it up. Should be charged up enough to fire the car up, but not good for really trying to use long term. We got a light on there, it says battery. We got that there lit, so this thing should crank. Crank, no start. So first thing I'm gonna do is test the fuel pump. I'm also gonna read this thing, see if I can read mileage and stuff. Up, needs a shifter handle. VST, Volvo System Tester. Put the key in here and hit this thing connect. Let me get this door latch thrown so we're not draining battery. Enter. Oop. Exit. It went too fast. That's right. 850. I think we want body to check mileage. Kobe, I think we're looking for. Oh. Electrical. Kobe 1. Kobe 1 Kenobi. See if it works good enough to establish connection. And we can try to read. Oh crap, I hate when that happens. Let's try it again. Wiggle the key in the ignition. Cross my fingers. Failure. Can't get my VST to connect, so I'm going to disconnect this while I access the fuel pump stuff. I'm actually going to pull the battery off because I don't know what's causing battery drainage. That way I can slow down battery drainage, get to this fuel pump connector and see if we get power back there. I'm also going to check for power up here at the relay first, so let me do that first before I disconnect the battery. This is a very basic tester for circuits. 6 or 12 volts. Got instructions on the back. They say you could also check spark plugs. You take this end of it, you clip it on a good ground, make sure you have a good ground, and you touch this end of it on 12 volts or 6 volts, and it'll light up to let you know that there's voltage there. See that light? So I know my ground is good and I know it's checking voltage. Now, this fuel pump relay should have power to it whenever I turn the key to the run position. So let me go ahead and turn the key to the run position and see if I got power where I got my jump wire installed. We should be having dash lights right there. We do not. So there's likely a bad J relay somewhere. That's kind of a mess too. So we're going to test in here. No power there. No power there. So there's no power in this socket for this fuel pump relay. So that's been deactivated by this immobilizer issue. So here you could test, see if you got power to some of these fuses too. See, you got power to this fuse, but you don't have any power to this fuse and this fuse. Let's see what those two fuses are. And that could be because one of these J relays are bad. Fuse number 24 and 25. 24 is position lamps. 25 is rear fog lamps. Let's see which one is radio. Looks like 7 is radio maybe. And we can also check fuel pump, see if there's power there. There's a radio at 32 as well. So let's check 32. See if we got power there. No power at 32. Oh man, what was the other one I was reading? The key is in the on position, so there should be power there. Fuel pump is number 2. We know we got courtesy lamps. Number 2. No power there. I thought I saw power at the courtesy lamps. Unless those are not the dome lights. I was looking for power at the dome light. Number 1 has power. So we got a lot of stuff here that does not have power that should. So maybe I should replace a couple of these J relays and see if that changes before I proceed. I doubt the immobilizer is knocking out all that stuff. Swapped out this first J relay. Don't know if that's going to do anything, but let's see how many of these fuses have power. 2, 3 doesn't, 4 doesn't. I've lost power to 2, 3, and 4. Two, 3, 4, 25 doesn't have power. 24 doesn't have power. None of these have power up here. Alright, let me see if there's power back in this fuel pump. Nope, no power there. Alright, let's swap that J relay to the next slot. Alright, I got some strange stuff happening here with some J relays out. Let me go grab a piece of paper, make some notations as to what fuses have power and what don't. We got 18 down 2 rows. Let me make myself a chart and mark power and no power with these J relays. I got some dash warning lights now. I put a J relay in slot number 2 and now I got warning lights. So that number 2 J relay had to be bad. Well, ain't this a son of a gun? I got the car running. I just pulled that fuse out of there, put the right J relays in, car's running. Apparently what happened is this shop that this car is at, they were doing some work. The battery likely was weak, bad, and drained down. And they went to jump the car, and whenever you try to jump one of these vehicles and have those jumper cables switched backwards, it will blow those J relays. So if you ever have a situation where somebody tries to jump the car, an 850, and they jump it backwards, it's going to blow these J relays, and then you're going to have an issue where you're going to have no cranking and lights missing from your instrument cluster. I have no idea why they didn't confess to that, but that's where we're at. When mechanics make mistakes and they don't confess, you're troubleshooting stuff that has nothing to do with the problem. Fortunate for me, I've got a little bit of troubleshooting skills, and I was able to troubleshoot some and figure out that these J relays were blown. The car's running fine. I'm going to test the fan. That was supposed to be one of the issues. The Volvo system tester. I think it's maybe engine. Let's check electrical. Nope, that's not going to work. But let's see if it works now that I got all the J relays in there. Yep, it's working. Check mileage real quick. 256,000 miles. Alright, let's go back out and see if we could test the fan. I don't remember where fan activation is. Maybe it's here. It's a gauge test. Oh yeah. Hit the gauge test. Alright. Let's try engine, see if there's a testing in there. I think this car is Motronic 2.3, establishing communication. I'm gonna punch around in here if this ain't it to activate that fan. Test the fan is not working. try to test the high speed. Seems like the fan itself is not working. It's stuck. It's jammed up. Let me see if something's in it stopping it from working. Here we are, folks, doing it big. LKQ Blue Island, Illinois. See if we can find these P80s, get a fan for this fine lady, and get back to Cincinnati. Whoop, whoop. GPS finally realized I made it halfway in the dang yard. But let's find some P80s. All the way down on the back 40. Finally found the imports, and there's a S70 looks like there. See if it still has a fan in it and some J relays. I'm gonna get 3 J relays and this fan. This looks like a 99. Got a new coolant reservoir. It's got the good dipstick with the old style intake manifold. Man, somebody need to come get that. Look at that nice grill. See if I can get this fan out of here. Yep, the fan is here. Whoop, whoop. This thing probably also has a oil cooler block off, but I didn't bring that tool, nor did I bring the tool to get that dipstick. So those are 2 parts that's still going to be here, because I ain't got time to mess with it. Some mentally deficient person cut the wires off the fan. Good Lord. Let me go see if I can find another one. The relays in these newer cars, okay, this is a 98. They don't say J. I thought they would say J on it. This 98 should have J relays. At 99, they were a different color and everything. This should be a 98. Looks like the fan is there. It's an NA. Yes, we have J relays, folks. This is what we need. Need J relays. All right, so somebody is coming here to get the relay, and when they take the relay, they cut the wires off the fan. So thank you. I don't even know what to call you.
Can't believe it.
Let me call Sebastian, see if he has a fan for me. As you can see, folks, the night is young. Back at the 850, put the J relays in and a fan. I start filling it up with coolant, and guess what? Didn't notice that earlier. The radiator is blown wide open. So this car needs a radiator and a fan. I don't know what's going on over here. What the heck is going on over here? Something splash over there? I guess so. So we're going to close it up for tonight, contemplate what we're going to do, and pick it up from there. If you feel that this information was useful, please like it and share it with your social media friends. You can subscribe to my channel so that you will get notifications of future videos that I post. You can follow me on Twitter, and if you need to contact me directly, please visit my website. And if you have any questions, leave them below, and someone or myself will reply to them. Again, thank you very much for watching.